Hello, everyone. This is Edson Timana, your business finance instructor. I just wanted to clarify some things on Chapter 5. I have seen your discussions, and I've also went ahead and participated on some of the comments that some students made. However, I felt that it was important to just clarify some things as to what we've been doing. So first is that I've noticed that a couple of you are attempting to complete the problems by immediately, calculating things, or in Excel or in your calculator or in your financial calculator, or you have even been trying to do it algebraically, by hand, and that's fine. But before you do any of that, it's important that you first figure out all of your main variables, and that pertains to what n is, what your interest rate per year is, your present value, future value, and your payments. And this is important because if you don't put the correct number in, then you're going to get the wrong answer. So, for example, with n, simply means your number of compounding periods. However, you have to understand that if something is compounded, for example, quarterly, then that means that something is going to be compounded 4 times a year. So let's say that something is compounded quarterly for 2 years, that would be 4 times 2. 2 stands for 2 years, so that would be 8. With your interest rates, most of the problems give you the annual interest rate, so it's up to you to convert that into a monthly period or a quarterly period. So continuing the example with quarters, if we get an interest rate of 8%, but it's compounded quarterly, then you would have to divide this by 4, okay? And that's what you would have to do before you do anything else. So whatever you do, just make sure that n and I are in the same format, okay? So that's the main problem that I've been seeing. The other thing that I've noticed is that there's a little bit of a confusion with present value and future value. Your present value, you can either put in as a negative number for your present value, so that you don't get a negative future value. So or you can simply put a positive number for your present value and get a negative future value. Okay, and there's a couple of thoughts as to what you should do, but as long as you pick one, you'll be fine. The thought with this, for example, is that if you're putting a positive present value and you get a negative future value, that means that in the future, once you wait for so long to get that money, then you're going to spend that money. Therefore, it's going to become a capital outflow. But you can also make just put in a negative present value so that you get a positive future value in the future as well. So either way it works. Just know that you're going to have a positive number on one side and a negative number on the other side. Okay, with PMT on your financial calculator, I use the TI Texas Instrument BA2 Plus Professional, and the PMT key just stands for payment. So that comes in handy whenever you want to put in a couple of payments, and then if you want to put in a couple of payments for a certain amount of years, then you would go back to N and so forth and so forth. Also, on page 182, there's a problem that goes over the present value of an uneven stream in perpetuities. Okay, and there's a LO4 specifically goes over a problem like that. However, I've noticed that the way that they do it is a little confusing, because you can get the same answer by simply using your net present value key on your calculator. And the way that you would do that is that you would enter the uneven stream of cash flows into your key that called CF, that stands for cash flows. And if you put that in correctly and press enter, each time you put in the key and then calculate your net present value, it's going to ask you for an interest rate, and then you'll be able to get the exact same answer, which in the book is $185.69. Okay, so just try to do it that way for now, because later on things will get much more complicated. So just knowing how to use that cash flow key and the net present value key will get you out of a lot of trouble later on. Again, if you're doing this algebraically, it's fine for now, but it will get a lot more complicated in the future, and it will leave a lot more room for error. So I suggest that you either invest in a financial calculator, or that you figure out the best way to do this in Excel or using some other program. Well, thank you guys, and if you have any other questions, just feel free to contact me.